Hi guys, Linnea here. I am doing a live to put together a spell for a client, and I thought you might want to join me. I won't be able to see a lot of chat, but right now I'm going to hang out until we get some people in here. And drink my drink. Don't worry, it's apple juice. I don't drink when I'm doing spells. That's a bad thing. So I am doing this spell. Client purchased a spell kit, a deluxe spell kit. So it's going to be a big spell, plus they're a good friend. And so I'm doing this spell. I'm actually putting together a few things. And so the spell and then a kit that someone ordered, not a kit, but some items someone ordered. I'm going to put those together on here as well. So you can kind of see my process and what I do. I will tell you on a normal basis, my items sit out in the moon for 30 days and in the sun for 30 days, a full cycle of the moon and the sun. And they get enchanted every day. Now, my death oil has had that happen, but my love oil, it's been out there for a while, and it was out under the full moon, but I brought it because I need to use it today. So it's not quite as enchanted as I like it to be, but it is being used today. So I wanted to let you know that. Same thing with my powder. My love powder, I am going to use some of that today as well. And it wasn't out for the full cycle either. So those will be being used. In fact, I forgot to grab that. I have everything laid out that I need. And this is a very herb heavy, where's my powder? A very herb heavy spell kit with mojo bags and everything. So there are a lot of herbs being used. And so there we go. It's hard to find a place for everything because it literally is, I'll show you. It's just packed. This is all the herbs that are going in this spell kit. This is my workstation. And I will be lighting my candle before I get going. And so you can kind of get an idea of how heavy this is on herbs. This is a very heavy herb spell. Which is good. It's a good thing. Herbs do so much and have such energy. I have got to find a place to put my little book here. Okay. So I'm just going to hang out a little bit until we get some people in case people do come. And if they don't show up in a few minutes, then I'm going to go ahead and just get it started and do it as though you were there, because I'm sure people will watch it back. But it's going to be a fun spell. It's going to be a fun one. This is to help a woman with her son's anger issues and her ability to cope. She is getting her own oil that was purchased and a spell kit that includes an oil. Now, the spell kit is called Death of Anger. That's why I'm using death oil. I'm using love oil so that, it brings love into the relationship, and so that she can use love oil in her oil as well, along with a lot of other things. But so that's happening. And that's why I'm doing this kit. And I'm also doing mojo bags. Mojo bags they can carry, and mojo bags that sit in their room, respective rooms or home, or however they want to set it up. But I'm going to go ahead and get started. I have a lot of work to do, so I don't want this to be super long. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I hope you guys enjoy the video. So here we go. The first thing I'm going to do is light my candle, because I always like to have a nice white candle going when I do spell work. So we get that going. And then I'm going to move some things that I don't need immediately on my workspace. which I put there to show you kind of what was going to be used. So I want to move some of these items because I can't get to all the herbs when they're stacked on each other. So, and then my dishcloth, I'll just set my lap so I can use that as needed. And make sure that my funnels are clean and don't have any residue. Come on, you bugger. This one's got a little bit of residue. I try not to wash them too often, just because I find that the extra magic works. It's just the fact that you've done magic with something makes it work a little better. So I don't wash them too often. Okay, so let's get started. Death of Anger spell. So because we are making mojo bags out of this as well, I need a lot of herbs. So I'm going to use my big mortar and pestle to mix in. I'm not going to necessarily grind in it. Oh, it's heavy. Because let me see if I can get you in a better position. I'm not going to necessarily grind in it because it is, I have a little grinder and a lot of this is going in a powder. So I will need to really grind it. So, all right, we're going to get started. So this one is for the young man, and I don't want to mention any names. And so the first amount of spell I'm doing is exorcism. I'm going to exorcise the anger from his life. So let me see. Got to get my little spoon out, my little Dorothy. I always use silver when working with herbs. You should never use metal. So I use silver, and it seems to work a little better than using just metal. So we're going to add some angelica. Remember, this is mojo bag, powder, and oil. So I'm going to be generous with a lot of my herbs. A lot that I don't have much of, I won't be quite as generous. Next is basil. All my herbs have been blessed and enchanted to work magic. I use my herbs for magic. I don't use them for cooking or, well, sometimes I do use them for cooking, but I don't ingest many of them. So most of them are for magic, and they've all been enchanted. Next, I'm going to add clover. Yeah, I use clover. Here. Takes a little bit to find them. I don't have a lot of clover, so I'm not adding a lot of clover. And again, this is an exorcism spell for exorcism, to exorcise anger from a young man's life. That's what we're working on at this moment. So, and then is next. And I'm looking for it. I've got the jars marked, but there are so many, it's hard to get through them all. Where is my cumin? I have it in a different. I know I grabbed it. Oh. Okay. Oops. Dropped my spoon. This will make good for the powder as well. Okay. Next is elder. Again, these are not easy to find. I have so many here. There we go. Elder. And not a lot of that one, so won't be quite as generous. But these are all for exorcism. Every one of these herbs is for exorcism. So trust me, there's going to be plenty in here. And fern and frankincense. I don't think I grabbed my fern. Give me 1 second. I didn't. Ta-da! So fern, I'm going to use my hand to put some in because it's leaves. It's dried fern. Okay. Next is frankincense. And again, I'm just going to use palm of the smaller stones. The bigger ones won't grind as easy. Okay, that's plenty of frankincense. Next, we're going to use garlic. As I dig it out here. There it is. I use garlic powder. Sometimes I use whole garlic for mojo bags. I just don't happen to have any today. And I'm not going to put a ton in there because I don't want this bag to smell bad. Next is juniper. There you are. I have so many jars all over the place. And juniper, I'm again going to use my palm. These are juniper berries. Okay. And next is mallow, which of course I left on the other shelf. Just one moment. I have so many herbs, they can't all fit on my herb hutch. So I have to put some on my bookcase. Okay, so we're going to use some mallow. And then we're going to use some mint and then nettle. There's my mint. Don't have a lot of mint left. Got to get some. So I won't be super generous with that. Mint and nettle, which is right. Okay, onion is next. I have it here. It's nice when they're all in different bottles because then I can tell what's what. Again, not a lot. I don't want the bag to stink or the oil or anything else. I want it to smell nice. Okay, next is rosemary. Smells delicious. This whole batch here smells delicious. Okay, next we have rue and sage. And sage is also right. I'm going to use whole sage and powder. Powder because I'm going to be making a powder out of a lot of it. I'm using quite a bit of sage. I have quite a bit, but also because I want a lot of protection to go with the exorcism of anger. Yarrow and shake. Yarrow is right here. And shade grass is also called witchcraft. I need some of that. Where are you, sugar? Okay. And this is the exorcism portion of our spell. So I'm going to mix that up. Sorry about that. My phone wants to go off. Okay, so once we get these herbs mixed, I'm going to add the powder sage. Because the powder is going to kind of make its way through the whole thing. So, and I just need 1 heaping spoon. I don't need to go crazy. I put a lot of sage in there already, so I think that's plenty. Okay. Now we've done our sage. We've done the exorcism portion of our spell. I'm going to mix that one more time. And then I'm going to enchant it for exorcism. So I will be just a moment silent while I do this. Okay. I'm going to move my text up. I see someone's in here. Hi, Jezebel. I am doing a spell kit for a client, and it is to, this portion of it is to exorcise anger from a young man's life. And I'm just enchanting the herbs to do that for me. And then I'm going to place them in a different container and then move on to the happiness portion of the spell. There will be a mojo bag, 2 mojo bags, and, well, 4 if you count the small one. So there will be mojo bags, hi, Tina. I'm glad you're here. There will be mojo bags, there will be oil, and there will be incense. So a lot of things are coming out of these herbs. So, and like I told you, it's very herb heavy. I don't know if you saw, but I'll show you right quick all the herbs that I'm using in these spells, as well as hair. So I'm going to be using hair as well. I'm trying to make this camera so you can see everything here. There, I think that works. Okay, so now I'm going to lift up my heavy mortar and pestle, and I'm going to transfer the herbs into this container. Again, this is the death of or exorcism of anger. That's what this portion of the spell is for. Okay. And I'm just going to set that aside. And our mortar is ready now to mix the second part of this. Yes, tons of herbs. It's a very herb heavy. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tina. I need to take that off, but I can't remove it on my phone, so I'll have to wait till I get internet to remove Nightbot. But yeah, please don't do capitals because for some reason Nightbot doesn't like it. I don't remember programming that, but evidently it thinks I did. Okay, the next step of this spell is going to be happiness. So for happiness, we need some meadow sweet. Meadow sweet. And safflower. Safflower is beautiful. I don't know if you've seen it. Oh, look at that. It's just a beautiful red I love it. So we're going to use some safflower in there. Oops, pushed my cork in too far. There we go. Safflower, St. John's wort. St. John's wort is a very important herb in all of this. This entire spell. It's probably the most important one I have. And it's important because it causes book, Roman. Oh my God, I love you so much. Oh, let me see. I want you to see my face. I love you. I'm trying to do your book for people, your Book of Shadows. I'm trying to do a series on that. Oh, I love you, Roman. Oh, I miss you, Sue. I miss you so much. Love you so much. Love you so much. You doll. So good to see you. So the reason St. John's wort is so important in this spell is because it's very calming and it brings the anger down, and that's an important ingredient, very important ingredient. They all do that, but St. John's wort is a little stronger at doing that type of thing than others. Allspice. We are going to use both a powder version. Where is my allspice? She says. Okay, well, I will add the powder when I get ready to do the powder, I suppose. Where's the whole allspice? Right here. I wonder where I put that powder. So I'm going to use whole allspice. Oh, yes. So many people were asking me how I made Augustus, who I've started using, by the way, Roman. So I wanted to share your expertise, and I'm actually making another small book anyway, so I thought it would really work out to just show people kind of what I could. I can never do you justice, but I'm trying. Sorry, I had to take a drink of my apple juice. Okay. Next is lemon balm. So we're going to add some lemon balm. Tina, Roman is one of my very, very, very best friends in the whole wide world. A sweet doll that I love dearly. Bay pieces. Is next. This is just bay leaf pieces, but it does so much. So we're going to add quite a bit of that. Not only that, I want everything to smell delicious, and bay does. Next is burdock root. Burdock is a good herb for, oh, this is healing, by the way. The allspice, the lemon balm, the bay, and now the burdock. Those are all for healing. Oh, found you. Okay, so I found my powder allspice, so I'm going to use a little bit of that. Oh, it smells delicious, girl. It smells delicious. Ah, so sorry about stupid Nightbot, Tina. Okay, and then our burdock root. I'm just going to use a palmful of that. Maybe a little more. And again, these are for healing. So we have happiness and healing going in here. Carnation, cedar, and cinnamon. Carnation, I just saw. Where'd you go? Where'd you go, Carnation? Here it is. Yeah, he's picky. That Nightbot is picky. I did all that because there were a lot of trolls visiting my page back in the day. I don't have that so much anymore. And I need to change it. But as I said, I have to have a computer to do that. And right now I have no internet. So that's not going to happen anytime soon. I bet she would. I bet you would, Roman. Okay, so this is cedar, again for healing. I get my cedar so cheap because I just buy the shavings that they put together for pets or pet bedding. I do the same thing with the pine. It's real easy to get. It's very inexpensive that way. Brown cinnamon is next. Cinnamon is a great herb for so many things, but especially for healing. Enough of that. And then fennel right here. Again, I don't have to use a spoon for all of these. I can palm some of them. So that's the fennel. And let's see. Rose, mugwort, and tobacco. Let me get my mugwort. That's wormwood. Mugwort. Mugwort is one of those that sounds like a real witchy herb, doesn't it? I love it. Mugwort. So does wormwood. Okay, got a generous amount of that. Get my rose. Rose is going in here twice, so I'm not going to be super generous this time. Going in here twice because it's going once for love when we get to that section. So I'm not going to put tons in there because I'm going to put it again. Because each step here, happiness and healing kind of go together, and then I'll enchant again. Yes, Harry Potter. And tobacco. We need some tobacco, which is right here. Okay. All right, now we are going to mix this up. And then once again, we're going to enchant it. And all of these herbs are going into the powder, the incense, and the oil, the death of anger oil, the death oil. Okay, so now I'm going to be silent for a moment. Hi, Holly. Welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm so glad you're here. Okay, so I'm going to be quiet for just a minute. Okay, and that was for happiness and healing. And the reason we're doing healing is this young man is troubled and he needs some healing in his life. And the Mojo bags will help with that as well. So, oops, splattered it everywhere, didn't I? So we're going to put that in our container and then we're going to carry on. So those have both been enchanted for what they're in there for. Health, healing, and then the first batch was for exorcism. Now I'm going to do one that is maybe not one most people would think of doing here, but I'm going to do chili pepper. And the reason I'm going to do that is because I want to cover all my bases with this anger issue. Hi, Heather. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, okay. That's okay, Heather. Thank you for letting me know. Roman Biscotti has blessed us, and I'm so glad she's here. She's here. So I'm using chili peppers because I want to be sure if there is a hex going on or something negative in this young man's life, I get rid of it. So I'm using chili powder for that, poke root, and thistle. As soon as I find it. Here's the poke root. Where's there it is. Okay. So again, this is just to cover in case there's something negative been put in this young man's life, we're removing it. Basically, we are removing a curse if it exists, or a spell of any kind, or a hex. So we're taking care of that by using these herbs. And I'm going to enchant this for that right quick. Okay, and then I'm going to add that to my little dish. So you can see I'm enchanting all the way along the steps for what's going on in this young man's life. And I'm doing that so that once I mix it all together, it's been enchanted for its separate uses, for its separate needs. So next I'm doing attract love. And the reason I'm doing attract love is not for him to set up his love life, but so that he has a higher amount of love with his mom. And her oil is going to receive the same type of enchantment as well. So first I'm putting orris root and then some cardamom. My cardamom is in a powder form, which is, again, okay because we're making a powder today. We're making a magic powder. Next is coriander. Nightbot is not nice. You are right. My friend Tangi used to love, I don't know why you guys aren't still moderators in here. Anyway, my friend, I'm so happy to be able to chat with you all again. I've missed you all so much. Oh, I miss you too, Roman. You don't know how much. You just don't know how much. What a blessing that you're here. Always thinking of you. Very true, Heather. Damiana is next. Damiana is a great love herb, attracting herb, period. And I don't get to use Damiana enough, I don't think. I do in the love herbs, in the love spells. But honestly, if you're a witch and you do work for clients, love spells get old. Next is ginger. A lot of clients want love spells. Again, this is powder form of ginger. Hibiscus. Okay. Marjoram. I'm going to find it in just a minute. It's sitting here, I promise. I grabbed it. I guess I'm going to have to slow down my reading because I'm not finding it. Good Lord. I'm on here. It's showing on her end. Oh, good. Okay. Doesn't show on my end. So I'm glad. I'm glad you guys know. I was worried that I had done something terrible. When you're on a phone, it's not the same as a computer. And I'm not used to it. So, okay. Orange is next. Orange. Hi, Sonia. Welcome. It's good to see you, love. I used quite a bit of orange. Orange is really good for love. It's also good for settling home. So I'm just going to add a good amount of that. Okay, Poppy is next. And Thyme. This smells so good. I wish they had smell-o-vision so I could show you guys, because it's just delicious smelling in my room right now. Plus, I have the incense going, so all of that together is just amazing. Next is wormwood. Another one of those witchy sounding herbs, wormwood. And then I am going to mix and enchant. It's making 4 mojo bags all together. It's making 2 small mojo bags that will be carried personally, and then 2 large that will sit in the home. So I'm going to enchant right quick. I'm going to be quiet just for a minute. Okay. That is to attract the love of mom. I'm going to see if I can't get it to fit my dish chair. A lot of it is powder, so I'm hoping it will. Oh, we did it. Okay. Next is peace and harmony. This is a big one when you're doing an anger spell. You really want a lot of peace. You want a lot of harmony going on in the home. And so lavender is like the #1 for that. I'm going to put quite a bit of lavender. Not only that, I love the smell. And I want these mojo bags to not smell like so much garlic or onion. So I'm putting the lavender. Then there's olive leaf. That will go next. Olive leaf promotes peace, tranquility. So that's going next. Passion flower and pennyroyal. This is my passion flower. Passion, there it is. Black salt is a wonderful ingredient, and it will be included in this spell work as well. It's really good for protection. Better for witches protection, but mine has all kinds of special ingredients in it, so I think it has a good place here. Now comes the one I don't like to use. I'm going to use the chamomile first. I don't like to use the next one because it smells so bad. I'm going to use quite a bit of chamomile because, again, chamomile is a calming thing, and that's what we're working on here is peace and harmony. The next one is valerian. Valerian smells like rotten feet, and it's just a terrible, terrible smelling herb. Where are you? Valerian. Well, I know I grabbed it because I was thinking how disgusting it was going to be to have to. And you use just a little of this because you don't want your bag to smell like valerian. Now, I know it's, oh, here it is, right in front. If it had been a snake, it had bit me. Stinks so bad. I'm going to look for a very small piece. And of course, they're all huge. Oh, it stinks so bad. Here we go. Nice small piece in there. Valerian is basically a tranquilizer of sorts. And it will calm and take care of that anger, I'm hoping. The next thing I'm going to do is add a little more ginger, and I'm adding ginger this time. Oh, stinks now. So sorry. Anyway, I'm adding ginger this time to obtain power. I want this young man to obtain control over his anger. So there we go. One more ginger. And then the protection side, I'm going to add some agrimony. I've already added sage, and I don't feel the need to add more because I was very generous, just like I was with the agrimony. And I'm going to add mandrake. Mandrake because it's wonderful for protection. It also helps with peace and calming. It is, again, another sedative. It is a poisonous herb. You don't want to ingest it unless, of course, you're using flying oil, and we won't get into that. Next is calendula, which is also considered marigold. I love that you guys are talking. I appreciate that because I can't really keep up with it. Okay. And then I want to induce some visions. Now, I don't want this gentleman to start hallucinating. That's not what I mean. But I want to induce a little bit of vision so that he can see what he's doing. I want him to have the visions of maybe his guides coming to him and calming him. I want him to have the vision of what's going on in his life and why. So I am going to induce some vision very mildly. And the first thing I'm going to use to do that is, if I can find it, it's here. I promise it's here. Coltsfoot is a good, a great herb for vision work. I promise I have it. Just give me a second to find it. Coltsfoot, Coltsfoot, where are you? Coltsfoot, Coltsfoot, where are you? Huh, maybe I didn't grab it. Let me look right quick on my hutch. I'm pretty sure I grabbed it. Well, dagnabbit. Sorry guys, I'm looking. Okay, well, it's not on the shelf. And it's not here, and I need it. It's an important one, and I need it. So I'm not going to move on until I find it. I'm so sorry about that, because I know it's going to get boring, but I have to go through these slowly so I make sure I see it. Housefoot. Found it. Coltsfoot. Sorry. This is an important one for inducing visions. Probably the most important one. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Just catching up on some chat there for a minute. And next, a little more Damiana, which I put somewhere, obviously. It's not sitting there. This is so frustrating. Damiana. Okay, more Damiana. And again, that's to induce vision. And last but not least, we're going to add some dandelion. Again, to induce vision. And to help with, insight to the self, psychic insight into the self. Okay, we are actually done with this spell, so we're going to mix this up. Oh, this one does smell good. Even with the valerian in there, it smells good, this batch. And I am going to have to grab a bigger bowl. So if you guys could just give me 1 second, I will be right back. I need to grab a big glass bowl. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. And I've got my big bowl. So I'm going to put my, oh no, I need to enchant. I'm not going to do anything. Okay, I'm going to enchant this batch for peace and harmony. No, I did that one. I'm going to enchant it to obtain power, protection, and vision inducement. Okay? And then wishes as well. Okay. Then I'm going to throw it into this big bowl I brought. This guy's heavy, so give me just 1 second. Okay. Now I can put our big bowl over here for you to see. Drop the rest of this in there. Set that aside. And then I'm going to enchant this one more time as a whole as I mix it up. And I'm going to enchant it for all the things we've named. So I'm going to be a minute. And I love you guys, so I'm sorry if I'm going to be quiet for a minute. I'm not paying much attention. Okay, I'll be back. Okay, so I'm going to just give you an idea here how big of an amount these herbs are. Look at that. That is just, let me get this out of the way because it's distracting. There we go. Look at all that. Beautiful. See how full the bowl is. Okay, so again, this is for 4 mojo bags. The reason it's so much is for 4 mojo bags and oil and some powder. So I am going to do the oil and the powder first. So the first thing I'm going to do is uncap my little grinder here. Because I'm doing powder, I have to use a grinder that's going to grind this stuff up to a powder. And I'm going to use a good handful here. You don't make a ton of powder because it doesn't take much powder for magic. I mean herbs. You don't use a ton of herbs. And then I'm going to grind this up. Now it's going to get noisy and I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Are you leaving us, Roman? You got to go? I love you so much. Thank you so much for coming. You don't know what it means to me. I love you so much. Okay, it's going to get loud, guys, and I'm very sorry for that, but here we go. Oh, I didn't turn my power strip on. Give me a second. Again. There we go. Okay. Here we go. Now you stay up here. Again, it's for a powder, so I need it to be fine. So I'm sorry if it keeps going too long. Oh, okay. Glad you're not leaving it, Roman. Okay. So next, I get my little strainer out. Because I need this to be a powder, I have to strain out anything that's not a powder. This here. And I'm going to knock everything over. Sorry about that. So I'm going to unhook my little blender. And then I'm going to sift everything through my little strainer. And then I just shake it back and forth until I get all the powder and not all the mess. Oh, and guess what? It's all powder. I got so lucky. It worked very well. Yay. Chili pepper and all. Juniper, the whole 9 yards. Nice powder. Okay, so set that aside. Close our little blender up. Put it away. Okay, so we have this beautiful powder. Let me get our bowl out of the way. So we have this gorgeous powder here. And it's almost a magic powder. I'm almost done making it. So, oh, smell is just amazing, you guys. Amazing. Okay, so next we add our actual talcum. We just made a lot of powder, and I hope she's ready for it because it's going to be a lot. Oh, I guess I put that right in front of the camera. Sorry about that. Okay, so we're going to add our talcum. Doesn't take a lot because it's very thin. That's plenty. That was about 3 heaping spoonfuls. Dorothy spoonfuls. Dorothy's spoon is very small. And then we're going to mix that up nicely. And this is our magic powder. Next, I'm going to add it to the little bag that I have ready for it. And I'm going to use a funnel, so hopefully it doesn't get caught in the zipper part. and not let my bag close. Excuse me. Okay, so I have my bag, I have my funnel, and in goes the powder. And you just shake it back and forth to kind of let it go down that funnel. It is slow going, and I don't know why. I'm going to try it. Leave back and starting over. Okay, a little more. We're almost got it all in there. There we go. Now it's going. And we don't want to get this packet too awful full. So pay attention. You need it to be able to close comfortably. I think I've got some stems in there I didn't catch. So I'm going to use the strainer one more time over the funnel. Oh, I did. I had some. They wouldn't go through the funnel. So that was the problem. Good thing is you just take this, you put it back in your bowl, and it still gets used. So that goes back in the bowl. Okay. And this goes into the package. Boy, this is a full package. Okay. Oh, not quite. Okay, now we go. So this is our package of magic powder. All ready to go. There it is. It's called death powder. It's called that because we're trying to kill anger. So we've got that part of our spell done, and we're going to set it aside. And then next, I think I'm going to work on the oil. The smallest one for that. Okay, so I'm going to use my death oil. And death oil, again, is not to kill someone. It is to kill a habit or a problem. A bad habit, an issue going on. For us, we're using it to kill anger. So that was our death oil. And I'm going to use a little bit of love oil, which I'm going to shake up because my heart gets everywhere in there. You got to be careful using this too because it's got food coloring and I don't want to color my hands all up. So we're going to use just a touch of that to add some love. And then we are going to get our jar, our oil jar that we're putting this oil into, and we're going to cleanse it. And we're going to cleanse it because we don't want anything that could cause any problem whatsoever getting in the way. So the way we're going to cleanse it is with our Palo Santo. So we're just going to light that and get it smoking. And it's going to take a minute because it's been burned a few times. I don't know why it always takes longer to light when it's been burned, but it does. There are some things that are going in the spell kit I'm not going to put on camera simply because they're surprises. And she's here, so we're just going to let that smoke go into the jar. And then we're going to let it come out on its own. I'm actually going to cap it keep it in there a little bit to really cleanse that jar. Then I'm going to cleanse the outside of it with our smoke. Okay, and we can put our cleansing thing away. Our Palo Santo. Okay. Next, I'm going to need my little funnel, my little tiny one. And this time, even though I preached that we try not to use metal, I have to use metal because it's my small one and I need it. Now, these herbs may not go through, which is okay because I can put those in the bottle after. I didn't stir this, so I want to do that. Oh, and I forgot an ingredient. I have to go back to the powder. Dagnabbit. This is going to be a full ounce of oil. I don't sell the 5 milliliter bottles on my Etsy shop, and I don't do that because I feel like it's a cheat. People need a full ounce to really be able to use it for any length of time. So I make full ounces. And that's why my bottles are a little more than $6. Mine are $10.95, but that's why, because it's so much oil. It'll last. And I'm going to have to kind of stir things around in there to get it to go. There we go. And one more time. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of carrier oil because I do want this jar to be full. Okay. Here we go. Put our funnel in a dish because we're going to use it again in a few minutes. And our oil is done. And the last ingredient I'm going to add to it is just a little bit of hair from each person. Makes it very personal and makes it work for those people. I need to add the rest of this hair to my powder and my Mojo bags. Once you get your hair in there, you're going to shake that bottle up. And I don't know if you noticed, but I left a little room. And that's because I want to add some chamomile oil. Just a couple of drops. I want to add the chamomile is to calm. The rose oil is for love. Add a little bit of that. Took a long time to get the drops out. And then I'm going to add some sandalwood for peace and calm. Come on, drip. Okay. Good Lord. And then I'm going to add some frankincense to exercise that bad habit of anger. And then last but not least, actually it's not last. I'm going to add some honeysuckle first. Honeysuckle brings a sweetness to a relationship. We want to do that. So I'm going to add some honeysuckle. And then last but not least is my own personal blessing oil. And I'm using that because I want to put my blessing into this. There we go. Okay, once we're all done with that, we're going to cap it up. We're going to shake it. And then we're going to smell it because I want to know how it smells. Delicious. It smells delicious. So that is our death oil, completely finished. Now I'm going to grab the label and put it on right quick so I don't get the two oils mixed up, because I am making another oil. And I definitely don't want to confuse the two. So the label goes on. There we go. Lunaia's Corner Death Oil. Perfect. So that is done. We can set that aside. I have to get my powder and add some hair to it and shake it up because I forgot the hair. And it's important that the ingredients of the two of them are in there. So when you get hair for a spell, what you do with it is you cut it up into the smallest pieces you can. And it becomes like a, I don't even know how to explain it, but it becomes like fuzz. And so you want to get it like a fuzz, and then you can use it generously in everything. And I was very lucky. My gal gave me quite a bit of hair. So, okay, there it is, Lunaia's Corner Death Powder. So that is now done. So what we have left is incense and mojo bath. So the reason I didn't put the hair in the big jar yet is because I've got to make an incense out of that. So I need to get a jar. Let me grab a jar. Okay. And this jar has already been cleansed. So we're going to add our herbs to it. And this will give our client some incense. And I will include some charcoal and probably a stone for her to use. She'll need a stone to burn it on if she doesn't have a charcoal burner, and I'm sure she doesn't. Now, of course, we're not going to get any of the chili peppers in here, but we are going to get the allspice and the juniper berries and all of that, and it'll burn. And sometimes seeds pop, so we're going to want something very fireproof underneath it. So there's our jar. And I still yet have to make a label for the incense, and I haven't done that yet. So we're just going to set that aside. Now our incense is done, our oil is done, and our powder is done. And what we have left to do for this particular spell are mojo bags. So next we're going to put our mojo bags together. Okay. Now I have this beautiful shirt that used to belong to the young man who's having a problem, and when he was younger. And so I have decided I'm going to make one large mojo bag for the house and two small ones for them to carry, one each. So here we go. Does what smoke? Yes, it does smoke, Tina. And if you can't use it, you don't have to. You can just keep it in the house in a jar. But incense does smoke. Okay, so we are going to use a generous amount of our herbs. We're going to make sure we get some chili peppers in there, right in the center of our cloth. And then let me grab a rubber band because we're going to need to hold that together while we tie it. I should have already done that, but of course I did not. I just need a small one, please. A small one. I'm going to get the big one. Oh, come on. I just need a little one. They're all huge. I mean it, you guys. They're all huge. Oh, my goodness. All right. I think this is about as small as I'm going to get. Look how big these are. Where is it? There we go. It's huge. Anyway. Dagnabbit, I keep hitting the table. Okay, so we are going to then pull our corners together on the Mojo bag. And then we're going to pull the sides in as well because it has to be completely gathered or we'll lose stuff. So we're going to make sure we've got the sides pulled up as well as the corners. It's important. And then we'll put our rubber band on it. And we're doing that to hold the place until we can get it tied. I may actually leave the rubber band on just to make sure because we've got a lot of small herbs in here. Okay, and powders. So here is our Mojo bag, and we're going to put a ribbon on that, and we're going to bless that ribbon to bring light and happiness. Hi, Witch of White Toho. How are you? It's so good to see you. Welcome, welcome. I'm so sorry. I'm so busy. I'm not being able to pay too much attention to the chat. So we're going to cut our ribbon. And then we will tie our Mojo bag with the ribbon. And we're going to bless this ribbon as we tie it. We're going to bless it to bring light and love. There we go. And we're going to cut our length off. And our Mojo bag for the house is finished. Just like that. So we set that aside. Then we have two small Mojo bags to make. So a small Mojo bag is only a piece of cloth about this big, and it will fit in a poppet. So we're going to use our stuff in here. We're going to make sure we get a chili pepper, just in case. And we may actually have to cut that chili pepper. Here we go. Cut that because we want to get the seeds in there, so don't lose your seed. Okay. I want it to fit in the bag, so I had to cut it. Oh, dagnabbit. Now I have to find small rubber bands again. I'll look elsewhere because I thought I had some small ones. Doggone it. Well, here's a small one. I've got one and one. Okay. Sorry about that. I'm sorry I have to keep leaving. Okay. So then we're going to pull the corners. Remember, you got to get the sides as well to get them up in there so that you don't lose any of your goodness. And then we band it. Okay. There's one. Let me do one more. Put our chili pepper in there with the seeds. I'm going to cut that stem off. It's too big. I'm just going to cut the stem right off of that chili pepper because it's a little too big. There we go. Okay. That in there. And then get our herbs in there. Remember, it doesn't take much for these small ones. They have to close well to go when they're small like this. So, okay, we pull our corners up. Once again, we make sure our sides are in. If they're not in, we'll lose all our creamy goodness. And then we rubber band it. Now, sometimes I pull the rubber band off and just tie it. And then I tie it and then I pull the rubber band off. But I think in this case, because there's so much powder in these, I'm going to leave the rubber band on and just tie my ribbon around it. I think that's probably the smartest way to handle it. Okay. That puppy is on there. Okay. More ribbon. And again, we're going to do the same thing with our ribbon. We're going to bless it. As we put it on, we're going to bless it to bring them death of anger, light and love. Well, I wouldn't even do the death of anger. The mojo bag is for that. I would just bring the light and love. So then we're going to tie our ribbon on. Sorry about my phone. These littler ones are a little harder to tie, but well worth it. Okay. My fingers don't want to cooperate. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to cut our little end off. That's one mojo bag. That is ready for a pocket. I'm going to actually tie that one more time because it's going in a pocket. And I definitely don't want it coming undone in the pocket. So just giving that one little more tie. Okay. And then we'll tie our next one. Boy, it has got, excuse me, it's gotten very warm in my room. I am really warm, but it's because of all my candles. I always have a ton of candles going in my room. I have my candle for Hecate. I have my candle for healing. I have my candle for money. Yes, yes, I have lots of candles always going. My ancestor candle. Okay, and then we're going to cut the little end off. Ta-da! Second mojo bag, ready for a pocket. Okay. Now, the next thing we are going to include in our spell kit, which I'm going to get that. Maybe. Here it is. Okay. We've got our spell kit. We've got our little box for our spell kit. Also says Winnea's Corner and has my candle on there. And we're going to open that up and just get this stuff going in. So, well, actually, I can just set it in there for now. It has to be presentable, so it's not quite ready, but I'm just going to set it in. And it'll be ready to go. So there's that. The next thing that's included are 3 candles I'm including in this spell. blue for peace and tranquility, yellow for friendship, and red for love. These will be burned at 3 different times and they will be engraved. The person will engrave them and it'll change. That this one will be, the red one for love will be engraved with their names. The blue one for peace and tranquility will say peace and tranquility. And the yellow one will say friendship and their name. And this one will also have not just their names, but love, the red one. So those are going in the spell kit. The other items I'm putting in the spell kit, I'm not going to tell you about. I don't want to tell you. Had to have a drink. Okay. We are done with the spell kit and the oil and the powder for my friend. And we are going to work now on her oil. And what I'm thinking is, I'm trying to see how long I've been on here. Give me just a second. Good Lord. I've been on, it started at 6:18 and it is now 6:48. I guess we're okay to go a little longer. You guys okay to hang out? You want to watch a little more of what's going on? Yeah, 81 minutes. You do. Okay. All right. I'll keep going then. I don't want to disappoint. So next what we're working on is an oil for my friend to bring her some psychic power because she's really in the realm of learning at this moment, to attract some love, to bring her calming, peace and tranquility, some courage and some strength. And also a little bit of vision inducement and that type of thing. So because this is going to be an oil, we're going to use very, very minute amount of herbs in this one. So I have my carrier oil in a little dish here. Let me aim this down. There we go. Okay. And then let me get rid of my bowl here. And I need another drink, guys. Sorry. I've been talking forever. So much I haven't got to visit or catch up on chat or anything. Okay. So we've got our little oil. We're going to add some lemon balm. Now, this time we're just doing pinches. We don't want much. We just want a tiny bit. So a little bit of lemon balm. And a little bit of cardamom. This is for the love attraction. God bless long nails when you're trying to make a pinch. It works well. Catnip. Catnip is great for attracting love. I tried not to use a lot of the same herbs, but I did have to use some of the same herbs. The clove, I'm going to find somewhere. Here it is. Whole clove, and I'm going to actually add that to my bottle. Bottle. Come here, bottle. I'm going to actually add that clove straight directly to the bottle. This is a nice, clean, ready to go bottle. And before I use it, I, of course, have to do what? I have to cleanse it. We always cleanse things because we don't want any leftover energy or feelings or anything in it. We want it clean and ready to go for our spell. So we light our Palo Santo. Which takes forever when it's already been burned. There we go. And we get the smoke inside the bottle. And then I'm going to cap it. You'll notice this bottle has an eyedropper. I'm going to cleanse the outside right quick. This one has an eyedropper because it's going to be used a lot for anointing. The other one is too, but I felt like this one would probably be used more often. Okay, so now we have our oil bottle that has been completely cleansed, and we're going to add a couple of whole cloves to it. Come on, just need a couple. Thank you. There we go. Okay, then back to our oil. We're going to add a little piece of, I'm going to add this in the jar too. This is coriander. Add just a couple of little balls of coriander in there. Where am I? A little bit of ginger. Oh, that's great. Well, I think that goes in too, so we're going to do that. Sage goes in a little pinch into the oil. And a little pinch of garlic. You want to go easy on it. You don't, on ginger. You don't want it to smell too bad. Of course, ginger to me smells delicious, but that's just me. Okay, then we're going to move on to mental power. We want to give her some mental power to get through the things she's going through. So we're going to add caraway, which is where? Caraway, here we go. These are little seeds. So again, we're going to add just a few to the jar, the oil jar. And then spearmint. Spearmint. Add that to our oil. Remember, you're just using tiny pinches, just a tiny bit. We're going to use orange to bring some love. I forgot it. Okay. Now we're on to Peace and Harmony. Come on, let's go on. So Peace and Harmony, of course, we're going to use lavender. And again, we just are going to add that to the jar because it'll plug up our little funnel. Add just a little more. I don't think I got one piece in there. There we go. Okay. I'm going to add some honeysuckle oil. And then a piece of olive leaf. Just like that. Hope I'm not boring you guys. I love you so much. Okay. Now we need calendula, which is a beautiful flower. But because it's petals, we're going to add that to our jar. Because again, we don't want to clog our funnel up. And that was for psychic power. Oh, they're bringing in the garbage can. I was like, what is that noise? Okay. Next, I want to help her strengthen her spirituality. She's, like I said, in a learning process right now. So I wanted to give her some psychic power. I wanted to give her some power to take over her life. I wanted to give her some healing and love. And now I want to give her some psychic power. I'm sorry, some strengthening spirituality. So we're going to add a little cinnamon. Remember, we're just putting pinches in this oil. We don't want to clog up our funnel whatsoever. And then a piece of frankincense. A little piece of frankincense I'm just going to put right into the oil, just like that. And I already put the oil in there. Oh, a little piece of myrrh. Where's my myrrh? Myrrh. Myrrh. Took me forever. I'm going to put a little piece of myrrh in here as well, a little stone of myrrh. These are resins, but their power that they give are just as strong and so on, whether you burn them or don't. Oops. Now I want to move on to vision inducement. So again, we're going to use the Coltsfoot, which I had a hell of a time finding before. So Lord only knows if I'll find it this time. Ah, I found it. For some reason, my label on the top says calf's foot. On the, oh no spoon. On the front, it says calf's foot. But on the top, I wrote coat foot. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. Anyway, a little touch of Damiana. And next, we're moving on to bringing her wishes to come true. I know her wish is that her and her son would get along very well. So we're bringing some dandelion in to help with that, as well as the psychic powers. And then I want to do some healing. This gal needs to heal. She's been through some stuff. So I'm going to put a piece of burdock into the oil bottle. We already added lemon balm and cinnamon, so we're good there. And a little fennel is what we need next. And these are seeds, so once again, we're going to add them directly to our oil jar. Doggone thing. Now, as I said earlier, I don't know if you guys heard me, on a normal basis, like my death oil has sat out under the moon and the sun for a full month. However, the love oil has not, because I recently made it and it hasn't had time. It has been out there being enchanted daily, but not for 30 days like I like to do. I like to do it for 30 days. So, okay. So we are done with all that. We're done putting our ingredients. So we're going to mix our oil. Now that we've got all of our ingredients in there, we're going to mix that up real good. Get those powders to mix well. Oh, it looks so pretty. And I am going to add some, again, calming things, some chamomile oil. And I'm adding quite a bit because she really does need to be calm and able to function. And then I'm going to add some more sandalwood, again, calming element. Looks like I'm getting a ton, but trust me, that was 4 drops. I'm going to add a little rose for the love. Come on. And then, oh, come on, go on there straight. And then I'm going to add some frankincense. We've already added the honeysuckle. Didn't want to open. I'm going to add a little more frankincense. It brings a lot of peace and calming too. And then, of course, my blessing oil. And I'm going to add 2 drops of that this time. I mean, 2. I don't know what to call eyedroppers. Hello, Candy, wake up. Okay, now we're mixing our stuff together. And because we've got the oil, the rose oil, and so on, we don't need to put roses in here. But the love oil has roses in it too, and we are going to use just a touch of that. Just a touch. There we go. Oh, come on, you booger. There we go. Okay. All right, our oil is ready to jar now. So we got to get our little funnel again, and I've got to clean it out right quick because it's got the herbs from the last sow. You don't want that. Okay. Now we put it in our little jar, and we get our oil in it. It should be just about an ounce. It sure is. Look at that. Perfect. I made enough of these too. Good deal. Okay, we're going to cap it. Now our calming oil is done as well. We do need coffee. But I have apple juice and it helps. So then I'm going to go down my checklist. I got the candle. I got the incense. I got the oil. I got the powder. I got the mojo back. I got attracting love, calming and peace and tranquility, courage and strength, mental powers, wishes, healing, and happiness. And ta-da, ta-da, ta-da. That's all done. And that's all done. Mojo back. Okay. So we are done with that. The next thing I'm going to do is right quickly, I'm going to cut a little piece of pink paper in half. I've got 2. I didn't mean to have 2. That's okay. And with this piece of paper, I'm going to use my book here. I'm going to use my book here, and I'm going to write petitions on these 2 pieces of paper. The first one is death to anger. And you're going to write that 3 times. Death to anger. And I'm writing that in a red pen. And I'm doing it on pink paper for love. And then I'm going to cut this extra piece off that I didn't need. Like that. And I'm going to sign my name. I'm going to turn it clockwise. And I'm going to sign my name across it. C-P-A-Y-A. That is my petition that will go in her spell box. Now, turn it again clockwise and fold it towards yourself because you're wanting to pull. Nope, I lied. I lied. You pull it across away from yourself because you're wanting to rid something. Ridding anger from this life. And you turn it clockwise again. And one more time. And you're folding away from yourself. And that is going in the spell kit. That is my part of the spell. The petition. I was going to do another one, but I think I'm going to leave it at death to anger. I think that's really our main focus for this spell. So I want to leave it at that. I'll put those up there. And let's see, I've got her oil done. I've got the Mojo bags done. I've got everything done. Okay. Hi, guys. I am going to do something else, but we don't need to be on camera for that. I am going to, I hope you guys can see me. I am going to enchant everything one more time, and in a very strong positive way, because I want it to be extremely powerful. And that includes the candles and, you know, everything that I've made, I'm going to re-enchant. And I'm going to tape the labels because they're wanting to come off. So I'm going to do that. Professional labels are coming to my Etsy page, but it's going to be a while. Anyway, hi, everybody. Hi. I get to visit a little. How are you all? You're so welcome, Tina. You're so welcome. Oh, I will tell you, when I did that, the Mojo bags, the piece of clothing had signatures on one of them. Hi, Heather. And I can't have other people's signatures on something. It's gonna screw the spell up. It's gonna go to them. So I had to use the piece of shirt that didn't have signatures on it from the inside. So when you're doing Mojo bags, pay attention to things like that. You don't want any interference in your spell. And just so you know, I didn't do it on camera, but I did cleanse that cloth when I cut it. I cut it and then I cleansed it with the Palo Santo. And I think that's important for you to know. The jar that I used for the incense has already been cleansed. If my client can't use incense, which I get the feeling she can't, she's going to tell me in a moment. If you can't use incense, then it can just sit in the house as a spell jar and it will work just fine. I'm going to light a cigarette. I try not to ever smoke on camera, but I need a cigarette. So, okay, no smoke. So we're just going to use that as a spell jar, and it will work just as fine for that. So I'm going to re-enchant that as a spell jar when I do the enchanting for that. And so we'll get that going. And then I have another order to fill today. So I'll do that in a few minutes. It's only going to take a half a second, but I will show you this. Look at my beautiful, oh, come on now, where are you? There it is. It's hanging on the wall. Do you see that? Isn't that gorgeous? My Spanish moss that I've got drying. And that is going to a client who ordered it today. Not today. She didn't order it today, but it's going first thing Monday morning. That and some brick dust. Brick dust is a great, great ingredient. You can use it for so many things. It can be used for cursing and banishing. It gives strength to things and added strength. It does so much. You can read online everything it does, but it does so much. Brick dust. So someone ordered some brick dust and some Spanish moss, which I can't wait to get sent because I love Spanish moss. And it is, again, usable in spells like crazy. It's really good if you're wanting to make a war oil or a war water. It's really good for that. It's good for death oil and death water. It's not a bad thing. You can use it for very positive spells as well. But those are things that it really works well in. It's great with rust and swamp water for a banishment or a curse. It's good. It's good stuff. Hi, Trish. How are you? Welcome. It's so good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, boy. That was some work, wasn't it, guys? We did some work. I love putting together spells. I love spell casting. I love spell work. I love the energy I get from my ancestors and my spirit guides and my deity Hecate. I love everything that I feel from doing it. Yes, my doll, Victoria. Yes. You need to see her? Is that what you want? You want to see her? I'm so sorry, Heather. I'm so sorry I didn't see it. I saw hi, Trish. How is Victoria? Victoria is amazing. And she's loving it here. Let me see if I can't get her in the camera. There she is. She's doing great. Her head is turned again. I don't think she likes facing the window. I think she wants to face the door. Do you see how her head is turned towards the door? So I'm just going to turn her here. There, is that better? There. She turns her head. She turns her body. Skin oh my gosh. I love you. Thank you for coming. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so happy you're here. So good to see you, darling. I watched you eat that chili pepper. It was hysterical. It was hysterical, Skins. That was great. That was good stuff. I loved it. I loved how you climbed in the sink. Yeah, she's trying to guard the door, Roman. She does move. Tina, she is a I had a spirit, if you will, in my old home in California. And she did all kinds of things from unlocking and opening the door or opening the door and having it still be locked to going through cupboards in the kitchen and just making all kinds of mischief and noise and banging and clanking and leaving the dishwasher open and cupboards and that type of thing. So I couldn't understand why she was haunting. And I knew that there had to be a reason. So I asked, I watched a video from Lady Grave Dancer who does spirit dolls. And I thought, I'm going to invite this spirit to be in a doll because all this started when we decided we were moving to Texas. I mean, it didn't start, it had already been going, but it got worse, it amplified. So, Starry Night, hi, Debbie. So we decided to get the doll. So I bought a beautiful doll. I put it in the room and I invited her, and I call her Victoria because I feel she's very ancient, probably from the Victorian times. I call her Victoria, and I invited her into the doll, told her that if she joined the doll, she could go with us on the move. And it was probably, I think, if I'm wrong, you guys let me know, but maybe about a week, and the doll began to move, and I knew she was in it. And the clanking stopped, the door opening stopped, all the noise in the kitchen stopped, everything stopped at that moment. And you get put in a doll. Roman, Angie, you're nuts. So yeah, it all stopped as soon as she got in the doll, and she got to come on the trip with us and was very happy to move and has been blissful here. Although she's not happy, she's facing away from the door. I've noticed because her head is aimed at the door now, and it was nice and straight when I put her up there. So I put her to the door. Can that be done with ex-husbands? Don't you wish? If you guys don't know each other and have not visited each other's channels, please do so. Please hug each other and really get to know one another, because I hang out with a wonderful group of people. You guys are wonderful. And if you don't know Skins Fan, please, please friend his channel. He can help your channel grow, first of all. Second of all, he's absolutely hysterical and his eyes are gorgeous. He's fun to watch. And he just did a video of eating a chili challenge, a habanero. He had to eat a habanero, and it was hysterical. He was climbing in the sink. It was so hot. You've got to watch it. You've got to watch it. Jeannie, my oldest friend on the planet is Jeannie. We went to grammar school together. I love you too, Jeannie. Love you, love you. Yeah, it was hysterical. So if you guys don't know Skins Fan, go to his channel. You can get to it from here. Friend him, subscribe to him, and check him out. That eating that chili pepper was hysterical. It was good stuff. I really enjoyed watching that. I didn't enjoy seeing him hurt, but it was absolutely hysterical. Him trying to climb in that sink was just good stuff. Oh, I've missed so much being busy. But I love you guys. I'm so happy to have some time to kind of visit a little bit. I am going to put my brick dust into the baggie, though. I am going to do that right quick. I'll do that, and then I will get the Spanish moss bagged up. Need my big funnel for this one. Put that in the bag. Grab the brick dust. This brick dust is ground by me, by hand, and sifted and sifted and sifted. Let me keep just a little bit of that so I can get some more made. A very big bag for that dust, but I didn't have a smaller one, so that's the one we got. And it doesn't want to seal. Come on, you booger. Okay, we got it sealed. So there we go, brick dust. Anya's corner of brick dust. So that one's done and ready to go too. So. And then all I have left to do is bag up the, okay, Witch of Whitetail. Thank you guys for subscribing to him. Staring into the abyss. That's funny. Absolutely nowhere, but it did make me feel better. So you take the brick, you take it outside on some cement or a very large stump, and you smash the bits out of it until it's smaller. And once it's small, in small, chunks, you have to have a very sturdy mortar and pestle, but you literally sit and grind. And when you use a mortar and pestle, always remember, you don't do this. You're going to mess it up if you do this. You're going to mess up your pestle. You're going to mess up your mortar. You're going to make dents and chips and all kinds of stuff. What you do is hold it like this. You push down and turn. Push down and turn. Push down and turn. Or like this. But push down and turn. And that's how you grind something. And it took me probably 2 days to get that much brick worth of grinding. And then because you don't want to, it's a stone, you can't put it on blades. So you have to just do it by hand. And once you get it done, then you use your little sifter to sift the big pieces out, put the powder in the container, and pour the big pieces back in and keep at it. It takes a good long time, but it is worth it. Brick dust is a great ingredient. It does all kinds of things, but especially for strength. It's amazing for strength. Okay, now I did hear about using a drill, but I know that you don't get you you drill into it and you hold something under it to catch the dust. The thing is, you're left with a bunch of holes and you still got this brick left. And to me, I don't like to waste. So if I have a brick, I mean, that dust that I got was from a half a brick. That is all I got from a half a brick, believe it or not. But if I see something with holes in it, I'm still going to break it up and do it by hand because I got to use it. So eventually it'll get done. So I've got 2 half bricks out there that I'm going to get started on. Not anytime soon, but well, if I get an order, I'll have to now, won't I? But if I don't get an order, it'll be a little while before I get started on that. But as soon as I get an order, of course, it'll have to be done. So, okay, Tina, can't you use a clay flower pot in the same way as a brick? Yes, you can. You can very well use a clay flower pot in the same way you would a brick. Definitely. Definitely. And thinner and probably easier to grind. I never thought of that. Doggone it. I have been grinding brick forever. That's a good idea, Dan. Yeah, I just never thought of that. Never crossed my mind. What a great idea. So much easier than grinding brick. Grinding brick is a hard job, let me tell you. But worth it. Everything I do is worth it. I get so much out of doing menial little things like that. And I honestly like grinding my powders by hand as well, but I was going to do this video and I wanted to be sure everybody wasn't sitting here while I ground for 2 hours. So that's why I use the little grinder that does it for me, so it's not so time consuming where you guys are just sitting and kind of watching going, come on, now what? I suppose we could have visited while we did it, but it would have been a very, very long live and that would have been insane. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, Trish. I'm so sad I didn't think of that before. All these years of grinding brick. Loving my apple juice. It's probably not going to love my tummy back, but I love it. Well, guys, I guess I better go. I've got to see if my Spanish moss is dry and get it bagged up. I want to be sure everything ships out on Monday. And I have an appointment tomorrow to do some spiritual counseling, so I want to be sure I can do that. Joyce! Big grinding is eggshells. Yes, that's another big one. No, true, no one gets bored in my room. They're usually too busy talking and having fun. You just show what he was using, and then you watched him do the spell. Yeah, I could do that and then just do the spell. But I kind of like to give guidelines on the way, so if people decide they want to do something like this, they know exactly what I'm thinking and what the process I'm going through is. And I also like people to see what I do for my Etsy page, because this is the stuff that I do for my Etsy page, and I want people to know that process and what I go through and how important it all is to me and how I take it all very seriously. And I don't ever do a spell that I'm not 100% into because, um, like bend over spells, I'm not real big on those. I'm not huge on love spells, but I will do them. I will put them together for someone. Um, but I'm just not big on control. I'm not real big on that control stuff. Although I know a lot of spells about control, and I do make a bend over oil and I make a bend over powder. Bend over is bend over and do my bidding, do my will. It's a oil and a powder that causes you to have control. And I'm just not big on them, although I do make them because people do want them. Um, I'm not big on it. You got to talk when you do yours. We can see that, Linnea. What are we seeing? Are you leaving, Trish? You have a good night too, darling. Anyway, I think probably I better put this to an end. It's been over an hour, I'm sure, and so I don't want to get any future viewers bored to death because they, of course, won't have the chat like you guys do, and that's fun. But I want to let you go and let you know that you're all divine and sacred beings of light and love. I love each and every one of you with all my heart, and I mean that 150%. Please have a great night. Please take care of one another. Please hug one another on here. Subscribe to each other. Subscribe to me if you're not subscribed, and please like my video. I would appreciate it. And visit my Etsy shop. It's really interesting. There are a lot of good things on there, and I tried my best to put the explanations in there really well. Love you too, Tina. You take care of you. Jordan, Joyce, it's so good to see you. I miss you, and I don't get to see you enough, but I love you to pieces. And Debbie, I love you so much. Hugs to you too. I'm going to get that talisman out. The thing is, when we moved, I packed it, and I can't find it. But when I put it together, I'm going to do a video on that as well. So I love you guys. Take care. Take care of each other and take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon. Have a good night and bye, guys.